Thank you. Please sit down, everyone. Stop the applause. It's too much. How is everybody? What's up?
Good. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you? Good. I know I'm very tall, right? You get it?
Yeah.
You're right up my nose hairs, too. Look at you. This is a great shot. What do we do now? Do we ask questions?
Yeah.
Do we
Yeah.
hang up? They do ask questions.
They're going to ask
Okay.
questions.
I'm talking
can
a
I
lot.
start?
Yeah.
Please.
How was it playing Hellboy? What were the challenges you have to represent this iconic character? I mean, so many fans love Ron Perlman in this role, so...
And I am one of them. So I joined them in that love. So it's, it's daunting. Like, to take it on was very daunting. But then once they pitched me sort of what the idea was behind it, how it was a darker version, it was more horror-based, it was closer to the sort of Dark Horse Mignola comic in its palette and in its tone. It was more violent. It's more, Hellboy himself is more of an identity complex, I feel like, in this one. It's really an identity piece. I was really excited, and I was like, it's been 10 years since those movies came out, and I want more Hellboy. So I want more Hellboy on the screen, and I was like, let's get him out there. So I endured hours and hours of makeup, big, large Bulgarian men beating the crap out of me on a daily basis. But it's like worth it because it's a super fun movie, and it's such an honor to be asked to portray something so iconic. I take it very seriously. Worked really hard on him, and it's just my honor to play.
So how would you consider working on casual industry?
The makeup on Stranger Things takes a lot less time. The great thing about the makeup in Stranger Things, by the way, is Hopper's like an alcoholic and a mess. So I usually show up in the makeup chair, and they're like, okay, you look like crap. Get on out there. Like, it usually takes like 3 minutes. And then in Hellboy, of course, it was 2.5 to 3 hours every day. So I'd show up at like 3 in the morning, which actually, in a weird way, in our business, is very funny. Like, women, in general, actresses they sometimes can take 2-3 hours in the chair. So it was not that unusual when I told my female actress friends that I was showing up 3 hours early. They were like, whatever. But for me, in general, it doesn't take a long time to make this look, like Hopper. So that was a real adjustment. And the other thing was, it's a big, action-y monster movie. So it has a whole different feel to it in that way. Like, at its essence, Stranger Things is sort of it's kind of a family show in a certain way. I mean, it has all this epicness to it, and in fact, in season 3, you'll see like there's even more epicness to it, this Spielbergian sort of epicness. But at its essence, it's more like a family drama. And so in Hellboy, it felt like, at its essence, it was a big monster movie with like all this violence and action, blah, blah, blah. But I mean, the great thing was, like, I think coming from Stranger Things, what I wanted to bring to it was a lot of that family dynamic. And so, I think some of the most successful stuff in the script is like Hellboy's dynamic with his dad, or, with Alice, with these sort of relationships that he has where he's trying to figure out who he is. But yeah, it felt at its core like a very different experience.
What about the award? What it means?
What's that?
The award that you get into.
The award?
Yeah, what it means to you?
It means that even in between movies, I have to work out. Because if you're an action star, you can't have a 38 waist. You know what I mean, man? It's embarrassing.
Now, who was your action star, growing up?
Oh my God, I mean, so many, right? Like, when I was growing up, it was like the mid-'80s, so it was, at that time it was like Harrison Ford. Like that's the guy that I love the most, I think. Because he does this thing in action movies which, some other action stars do very well too. I feel like Chris Evans does it really well. It's this thing where it's like they show up for a battle and you see in their face that they're going to get their ass kicked. And it's what like makes the drama of the fight. I feel like he did that so well. But then, then it's like Arnold Schwarzenegger and like Sylvester Stallone, like First Blood, Predator, Commando, like all these big action, and even tonight, like, you know, we're honoring Jamie Lee Curtis, like True Lies, like Jamie, or Linda Hamilton, right? Terminator, like the original Terminator, like those action movies are amazing. So I grew up with a lot of action movies. So, you know, it is quite an honor to be an action star. I never thought it would happen. I certainly never thought it would happen when I was 43. I always thought I'd be on the villain side of things in this industry because I started out as villains a lot. And I always thought I'd be a villain, and I wound up being an action star. And so, you know, it's very nice.
Congratulations on this award, Action
Thank
Star of Tomorrow.
Sure.
I saw today. I saw Hellboy last week, and there are so many scenes that are literally packed with action. It's absolutely visually insane. I was wondering if you could speak to why this specific movie demands to be seen in a theater.
I mean, yeah, this would be a very different experience on your device, like on your iPhone, as opposed to in a movie theater. I mean, the great thing is the scale of it. It's so huge. And, you know, like one of the first things that I love is the movie, there's a lot of stuff, and then eventually you get to this big fight where it's sort of teased in the trailer where Hellboy goes up against these three giants, and the camera pulls back, and it gets he gets very small in the frame, and these things get very large. But it does that a lot with this film, where it'll go in scope very, very large, and I think you can't really get that feel on an iPhone. And I do know that I saw the film. They sent me some of it on my computer, and then they set up a screening for me where I saw it on a big screen, not a huge IMAX screen, but like a bigger screen, and it was a much different experience. I mean, I had a blast watching it on a big screen.
Okay, we have 2 more questions,
How
guys.
did it feel when you saw yourself in makeup for the first time, and how difficult was it to remove it?
It was really freaky and trippy and weird to see myself in makeup for the first time. It was, you know, it's like the best Halloween costume ever. But then as the process went on, I started to really fetishize it, if I could say it. Like, I started to really get into it. Like, I'd miss it. I'd look at myself in the mirror in my hotel room, and I'd be like, nah. And then I'd go put on the makeup, I'd look at Hellboy's face, and I'd be like, oh, yeah. So I started to love it. Taking it off was not that difficult because they printed out a new mask every day. It's an entire mask. None of it's my body except for my left hand. But that's painted as well. But my left hand is mine. But everything else, it's a full mask, a full body, yellow eyes, teeth apparatus, ears, hair, and then just my own left hand. So when you see a lot of good left hand acting, that's what I'm most proud of. But taking it off was easy because it was just a printed mask, and they would literally sort of rip it off my face, and then I would get like a vitamin E rub down from my makeup artist, which was the weirdest experience of the whole process.
Guys, last question.
What do you think is the biggest difference from working with Guillermo del Toro to
I never worked with Guillermo del Toro. What is it like working with him?
I don't know, giving you words that?
I was in Shape of Water. I was amazing. I played a chair. I've never worked with Guillermo del Toro. He's an amazing filmmaker. I'd love to work. Will you put it in words? Well, yeah. What's up? That's an interesting question. You know, I'm excited about both. I don't know anything about Black Widow yet. Like, we haven't started. Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, they're an amazing franchise, right? Like, those movies are great. I love those movies. I see all those movies. I'm probably going to see Avengers Endgame when it comes out. Yeah, I mean, one of the greatest things about this movie, though, is it's directed by this woman, Kate Shortland. And she made a movie in, like, 2012 called Lore. She's a phenomenal Australian filmmaker. And the fact that they're taking creative risks like that in a franchise that is so enormous, and from what I, spoken to Kate about, letting her make the film that she wants to make. The fact that it's like Russian, this Black Widow Russian character is very interesting to me. I think they announced, I'm not sure if it's totally, but I think Rachel Weisz is going to maybe play. This actress Florence Pugh, who's kind of extraordinary. it seems like a terrific baseball team to play for, so I'm excited. But I'm also very excited about Hellboy. I love Dark Horse, and I love that universe as well. So I sort of am very blessed. It's been, hey, action star of the year. I mean, it's been a blessed year.
What do you think about Stranger Things season
Stranger Things season 3. Okay, here's what happens. I'm not gonna tell you nothing. It's gonna be great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.